Alright, so I wanted to make something to preface this and just let you guys know that at the end of the Power Rankings, we are going to be explaining how the Power Rankings will be working this season. We should have done it at the beginning, but we did it at the end. I will put a timestamp in the description, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, it is us, me and Bash, here.
Hello.
Here with the first week of the Season 7 Power Rankings.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Were we volunteered for this?
Yes. I had to make up my time from missing last week.
We literally got volunteered for this.
Yeah. That's not. Oh no.
Oh no. Anyway, for coach number 14, it's pretty much a big consensus, except for EN, that T-Flight is the number 14 coach for week 1. In his battle with Cody, it was a disaster. He missed those 2 hurricanes. It was just like hacks everywhere, just like on both sides. Like it was like the battle was like all hacks on both sides, and then it's just like, whoop, I'm done.
Oh man. Oh no.
Oh no! Like literally.
Honestly, there was a lot of weird sets too. I would say for the match, and I felt like he could have bought some. Well, he could have bought like the trio or something like that. I don't know. I just felt like the mons he brought were kind of weird, and the fact that I don't know if his Rotom had defog or not. But when you have such a volt-turning team, because I think that Moltres and Primeape were Scarf, and when rocks are up on against him, like that's such a problem for him with Moltres, Primeape, and Zoro, and Rotom, and Probopass I think had Volt Switch too. They're all just momenting him in and out, and they're just taking chip damage this entire time, while Moltres is taking 50%. So at a certain point, I do think that if he had defog, he should have clicked it at some point.
Yeah.
It's before Moltres went down to like 1%, or like all of his mons just got chipped down to. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like you said, those rocks really didn't help him because he was U-turning in and out like constantly.
Yeah.
And especially when you have a bunch of U-turn and Volt Switch mons, it's just you gotta get rid of those rocks because you're just gonna lose. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Thunderflight. That game was really hacksy too. With the pairs with the Mega Venusaur right into the Dark Pulse flinch with Goth, and then the misses with Hurricane. It was just very.
He didn't have a good time.
Yeah. Oh no.
Right.
Okay.
Next for our number 13 spot, another big consensus, except for EN again. We got Shadow from me and you.
You know, he just doesn't have what's it called? Ice resist, even like Volcarona. Like that's just not a switch in.
It wasn't even the ice resist in this game though.
Okay, wait.
Like whenever I was battling him, the things that were going through my mind, I felt pretty comfortable, at least in the beginning. But seeing from what he told me after his match, it made me feel a little less comfortable in what I was doing, because apparently he made a bunch of errors. Like he didn't error in his prep, but he erred in his execution of his prep. For example, his Mew, he should have clicked rocks first turn. I believe the match would have been a very different story if he had clicked rocks like he said. He didn't realize that until after the match was over. But I do believe that the match would have... It might still have turned out as a loss for him. You really don't know unless it happened. It could have gone either way, especially if he did click rocks on that first turn, which I think was a very big mistake in not doing.
I do agree because I honestly, for a second, like if you got rocks up, Hitmonlee could have possibly just wrecked your team. But that curse set was really cool.
Azu would have definitely died.
Yeah.
Because I knew it could
and I
live
don't know
one
how
poison jab without rocks.
Yeah. Also very like the Sea King was very interesting. It gave you a couple of problems, but like
yeah, my team is
still
very very weak to bulky waters. I can't break through them really. Hopefully I can fix that though with my transactions for next week. But yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
well,
me and you already know what those transactions are, but yeah.
Oh, well, I already know what I'm gonna. I have to make the transactions video, so you know. I forgot. There was like it was Mew was defensive with rocks, right?
Yeah,
and
it had rocks.
I don't think we saw much.
It had rocks, ice beam. I think.
Yeah.
It had some other things too. I don't remember. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah. Also, he did not switch into Excelgor. Like, he needs. I don't know if it's like in his prep or like, just like his team in general. He just literally, like, something died every time. Every time you brought in Excelgor, I think at a certain point you need to figure out how to fix that situation.
Yeah, I definitely think he should have. He definitely shouldn't have let his Mamo go down that early. Because I don't know if he was running like the proper calcs or checking specs of Selgor, but Selgor doesn't need that much speed. Ice Shard's not gonna kill it if it has a bunch of HP EVs.
Yeah, that's what's so good about Selgor though. You can add a lot more into it because of its speed.
You get a lot more freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
Here at number 12. Here's where the differences start coming into play. Me and you have the same choice, but
yeah. TCP, what are you doing, man? Oh. So I guess we'll just talk about the Dave's team, right?
Yeah.
For now. Okay. I was confused when it came to when I watched the match. That Mega Medicham didn't have Poison Jab, because it didn't. Aromatisse literally just walled that thing like for days, like without like if he actually did have Poison Jab, it would have been perfect. I think he probably could have actually pulled it out in the end game, but that's probably just a prep choice. Maybe he didn't expect it to come, but
whenever I was watching their battle, it didn't really feel like Dave had momentum. Like he might have had he had it like maybe once in the game, but it didn't feel like there was at any point in that battle that he had any control. So that being said, it doesn't feel right to put him any higher than this because he couldn't take control over like anything. And like you said with the Aromatisse, that thing just walled if you didn't bring Poison Jab or anything to stop that fairy type. You gotta be very careful about that. And the gyro ball.
Oh yes. Oh no.
We'll talk more about that later, but that was bad.
Yeah, that was. Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. So. So should we go into the next one or?
Yeah. Here at number 11. Okay. I have Bash. Again,
Mr.
Sick Boy this past week.
Yeah.
So why do you have Ferret?
Okay. The reason I had Ferret is because I think he didn't realize in prep how much of a problem, how much difficulty he's going to have breaking Zombie's team with all the physical attackers he ended up bringing. With all of his setup mons were just basically physical attackers, I think. And then I felt like during the play, Zombie was able to read him too easily, maybe. And he wasn't able to break through a lot of his a lot of Zombie's walls. Although I do really like the Berry Crawdon. I think that was an amazing bring, especially because it really worked out with the Kofag with the knockoff Cobra Berry. So like that worked out really well. But I don't know. I just didn't really feel like I don't understand how Flygon took so much from Lando right there with the turn 1 with a U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like White Ferret's prep could be a little better. His play wasn't horrible, but like it was like not bad. But I don't think I could put him that much higher with how like the match went. Honestly, how about me?
I have you here, Mr. Sick Boy, this past week. Hope you're feeling better, by the way. But
yeah, I can actually talk now. So.
But your match versus Brad, it was a doozy and a half. Basically just Diggersby, just like it just broke the whole team, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't really feel like you had any momentum that you like otherwise needed. And Brad was really able to take advantage of you not having like any sort of reliable recovery in your prep.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It
To be fair, I did make some really bad plays because I was sick, but yeah, I did get out prepped by Brad. I think in this match.
The reason why you're not lower is because of how close you brought it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really justify putting you any higher than that.
Yeah. Like I honestly I had I know that I don't know if you saw I had threw Chop Mega Glade for the Sylveon.
I saw that.
Like the things that I thought were gonna come just didn't show up it showed in my match because of the prep. So there's not much really I could do about that.
But yeah, now we're flip flopping at number 10. So why do you have yourself higher than Ferret?
That I do feel like I had myself higher than Ferret because I think I was able to bring that game back with Snorlax. I thought.
So it's not just your ego just saying I gotta be higher.
No, and also Salazzle could have brought that game back. I'm not sure. I think he was modest though, Hydreigon. If he was modest, I don't think it mattered at the end. But if he was timid, I would have had a decent chance to live that. And I went for the Nasty Pot in the previous turn. I could have tried to reverse sweep him at the end. So that's why I did. +2 Sludge Wave takes out. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, that's kind of like why I put it myself a little higher. Once again, though, both of us just failed it. Like, kind of messed up in prep, I think.
Yeah.
So
I could definitely see how you definitely could have brought that back if circumstances had worked out just a tad bit differently. But yeah, I have Ferret here. I got the liberty to mock with him. Week 1 I got to mock with him, and he wrecked me. It's like every time we mock, almost every time he beats me, and then whenever we do an actual battle, I beat him. So it's like I don't know, like whenever it counts, it's like he folds under the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think. But Crawdon is just a monster. He had an amazing set with that Lumberry. That's why I had to put him a little higher. Is his prep, it wasn't necessarily lacking, but I think it could have been a lot more optimized for like he had a lot of physical threats. So of course Zombie is gonna try and take advantage of that. And I think he could have tailored to accommodate for the fact that he's going to prep a lot for physical threats.
I'm telling you, Specs Crawdon. He should have brought Specs Crawdon.
Specs Crawdon, man. Jeez.
I mean, that Will-O-Wisp would not have mattered. The Will-O-Wisp would not have mattered. The Intimidate wouldn't. I'm telling you. You gotta trust it. You gotta trust in the prep.
Can we take a second and wonder why I'm at number 10 for Ferret?
I'm sorry. I feel like we're trashing Ferret too much right now.
No. This is your payback, man. For the transaction, but this is your payback. Like, I don't understand why I'm at number 10. It makes me sad. Like, it's so sad.
Oh man, he just doesn't like you.
Alright, at number 8, it's another general consensus. Again, we have Malone and his St. Louis Swab Blues here at number 9.
Yeah.
Ferret, he prepped pretty well, I think.
Yeah. I would say though, he he did not have an answer to Mega Aerodactyl in the end game. And the mass screenplay that I remember you pointed out with the U-turn on rocks.
Yeah. It's it seemed like he lost sight of the end game. He didn't really have the end game too much in mind throughout that battle. I can understand why he hit Psychic with his Latios on the on the Kyurem. I can understand why he made that play, but it really cost him that it didn't work.
Yeah.
But I think he had Crunch on.
Well, he might have also calculated like a weird Kyurem against like a Kyurem set, because I think most Kyurems, I don't know if it shows up like a damage calc as like really offensive, and he might have had a lot more bulk than
yeah, he was very
expecting.
Bulky.
And the Kyurem calc, when it comes up as naive. So maybe he miscalced too. That could have been an issue too, because there's a possibility that maybe if that was what happened, that's why he clicked Psychic, because it was a no drawback play. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it makes sense that he hit Psychic, but I think it really lost him a lot of momentum losing Latios there. Yeah,
Latios was very important, I think, for that game. What was it? Do you know what set it was, or?
I would have to check. Let me check.
Because if it was Scarp, that could have been really good for the end game with the Mega Aerodactyl.
I think his set, it was a leftover set.
Oh, okay.
Defog, Recover, Psychic, Draco. It was modest.
Never mind. Yeah. Well, getting rid of rocks would have been nice still too.
Yeah. But had he hit Draco there, he might have been able to pull it back. I'm not sure. Yeah, he was especially defensive. I don't know. I don't think he would have lived a Mega Aerodactyl Crunch. I think that was just like a misprep error, not prepping enough for Aerodactyl.
Well, I think he might have had some ways to beat it. I think they just got too weakened.
Mm-hmm. He needed something that was faster. That he didn't prep anything that was faster than Mega Aerodactyl.
Yeah, and I think Steelix might have been his way of also helping check it, but I think that risking it against Kyurem Black and the Metagross and letting it get weakened was kind of a misplay on his part, especially with because he would have been brought down to like really low, because even because Metagross missed a hammer armor. You remember that earlier?
Yeah, I remember that now.
He did get a hammer armor damage earlier, but if he got off a second one, it would have been like Steelix would have been pretty much useless for the rest of the match, and Mega Aerodactyl wouldn't even have to click Fire Blast at then. But I do think that he, as you said earlier, he did lose sight of the end game, as he did not have any way to beat Mega Aerodactyl unless Mega Aerodactyl missed a move.
Yeah, but circumstances are circumstances. You gotta prep something that's faster than Mega Aerodactyl next time.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 8, we both have TCP. Do you want to take this one?
That game was just... It was a really good game, honestly.
Yeah, it was very back and forth.
Yeah. Honestly... Well, okay. I don't think you could really prep... Like, the way, like... Vish used Oricorio like absolutely amazing. Like it kind of like mollywopped the TCP, and I don't think he was expecting that either. I don't think anybody was. Yeah, like
named it after the best mod in the ASL. That was mod for 5 minutes.
Oh jeez.
Totally not me.
I do think that TCP played I just think that this just played to a whole new level.
TCP didn't play bad at all. Vich, he was just on. He was like you said. He was next level. This. This week.
I do think though that TCP could have brought the game back if Celestia didn't get confused.
I believe that he definitely would have won if he didn't get, unless Vich had something that would have just killed. I don't know if he did.
Yeah.
I don't know all of his sets. He might have. He might have not. That's something that Vich would have to tell us. But I do think TCP had a really good chance of winning if he did not hurt himself in confusion.
Yeah.
Speaking of confusion, Malone messaged.
What? Oh no.
Oh no. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Year 7, we have me.
Would you look at that?
Look at that. Look at that cute otter looking thing. I'm telling you, man, my logo is just like me, freaking cute as hell.
Oh no. Oh. Okay.
You didn't deny it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Roast me.
So
please.
Okay, so I do want to point out that you actually brought an amazing bring with Exogor, as we mentioned earlier. Like he literally lost to like Exogor. I don't know like how you can't say like you made Exogor the kill leader. So that's just like alone impressive. And even through, I think like although there was some points that as you said earlier against you, that would have been a huge lead. That I do think you still played like very well against him. You kept the right mons around, I think, and the licky tongue, man.
Nothing can beat
like
licky tongue, man.
That thing is hella bulky.
No, I made it specifically for the Volcarona. If it's set up, rock slot, freaking heck.
Yeah, so like I was pretty impressed with it. I didn't put you higher just because literally Shadow literally made the right plays like, early on, he would have just won. I think he could have won the game. As well as, to be honest, I think the matchup was really good in your favor.
Yeah. So
like I think that you're putting you really high for such a matchup kind of in your favor is kind of not really fair, I would say. I don't know really how to explain that, but like, yeah.
But he did. I'll give Shadow credit though. He really took advantage of my bulky water weakness with Sea King. He got 2 kills with that thing, which I will commend him for. Getting 2 kills with a Sea King. Honestly, that deserves like mega props right there.
Yeah, true.
Coming in at number 6, we got the Slow Brohemians, and you put the Brad. My father, my Samurott brethren, my otter brother.
Your father.
Brett, I am your father.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I got TJ here. He got that nice sweep with Mega Arrow at the end. He knew what he needed to do to win, and he got himself there. He knew that he could finish his whole team with Mega Arrow if he just weakened it, and he executed that freaking perfectly.
Yeah. He even got really he got really badly hacked.
Yeah.
And he was still able to bring that game back with Mega Arrow. He had a lot. Oh, I was also gonna say he has a day when with Kieran Black, and the Latios, and just click Dragon Claw right there. But at that point, he might. Maybe he didn't have the shins. But I do think that TJ. I put TJ higher than Brad. The reason I did that is because I think that TJ played well, even through all the hacks that he got.
Yeah.
Or he got hacked. So yeah. Brad, I probably should have put him a little higher, but as playing against him, I felt like there was like some situations where I could have gained back, and that's my fault that I didn't take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in prep, Brad definitely exposed me in my team, which I fixed that eventually, but I could have put Brad higher, but with all the teams that I put higher, it's just really difficult. Teams just did just as well or better. Like, it's just really difficult with these top 6.
Mm-hmm.
Really
it's definitely difficult, especially since it's just week 1 and you only have like one game to go off of. And I'm really excited to see how it shakes up the power rankings this season, because it's almost as like every season the ASL has had, it's like the playoff race has gotten a lot closer.
Yeah.
And I think this season will be no exception to that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, coming in at number 5, you have TJ.
Yeah.
Why you got TJ number 5?
Well, I explained earlier that I felt like he played really well even through, and he was able to hold on to his win con, which was Mega Aerodactyl in the end, and was be able to sweep at the end with that. And as I said before, I think that with the combination with how badly he got hacked, a lot of stuff too, and the amount of the plays he ended up making to get himself back into the game after all those hacks really pushed myself. I really pushed him up to 5th because of that. So
I have zombie here. Big zombie dead thing. I just dropped my fall stone.
Oh no!
I don't know where it went.
Oh no!
Oh no! I'll find it later. Oh, it's the 16 gig one too. No. Oh, I found it.
Oh no! Okay.
Anyway, we got zombie here, dead thing, Victoria Victinis, or as Bash likes to call them, freaking, what'd you call them? Like vandalism or something? What'd you call it?
Oh, the vicious Victinis.
Oh, vicious Victinis. Yeah, the freaking vicious Victinis. That's what Bash is gonna call zombie from now on. Anyway, I think Zombie had amazing prep. Bringing Trace Gardevoir for like against Flygon, who had a potential to EQ. Like, that's like next level.
Yeah, and with the Cobra too, with the Will-O-Wisp, even though Crawdon did have I thought that was a very good bring too.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like Zombie was playing out of his mind with his prep. Very good prep. Honestly, probably the best prep of this week, if I had to say. Except for maybe Vish.
We'll get to him though.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
But I do think that Zombie played really well too. I felt like he had a lot of most of the game, and he just Wayfarer couldn't break his team. It was either he didn't bring enough breakers or he just didn't bring that Specs Crawdon.
Also Ferret could have brought the game. Ferret could have won the game if he crab hammered first instead of aqua jetting.
Yeah.
Because if he crab hammered, he probably could have killed the Mega Charizard. But he decided to wait and use a weaker move, knowing that. Well, I don't know if he knew that it would have Roost, but it's kind of obvious.
I think he was.
Charizard's gonna have Roost.
I think he didn't realize the end game for B. White Fairy didn't, because at this point, Blacephalon beats Gardevoir. So his only way, Zombie's only way of beating Blacephalon, I believe that was Scarf Blacephalon, right?
Yeah, it was Scarf.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So his only way of beating Blacephalon was that Charizard X. So he needed to make sure that was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think White Ferret realized that in the game, which is props to Zombie because he was able to keep his win con a lot like healthy in order to take on Blacephalon for the end game. So
props to Zombie for getting the I guess it's not really a prediction, it's an obvious play for him, but props to Zombie for not losing his win con there. Next we have literally the commissioners on the same slide.
Would you look at that?
Ian's logo has always scared me.
Wait, what?
It's just Ash's face on a Scolipede, man.
Yeah, after the movie though, it's like...
No, not the movie. No, don't bring that here. No.
What? I recommend everyone to go watch the movie.
No, don't watch the movie.
Oh no.
Don't listen to Bash.
So, do you want to go over what you thought of Brad first, or?
Brad did a really, 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 really good job of just freaking raping your team in prep.
Oh, thanks.
It's like it's not even like a joke.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
Yeah. Oh, you just got really dark and deep right there. I just did not like it.
I mean, it's not as bad as the movie.
What? It's not my movie. It's just a movie he nicknamed the logo after. Watches it's not even part done after the movie. Watches like some weird. The entire time we're asking for it, it's not even the movie or something like it's.
We just assumed his logo was something it's not.
Yeah. So Brad did out prep me, and he did outplay me. That's all I gotta say for that. Ian, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that Romatisse real quick, because that was just
lady.
Oh
pick
my
legs.
god!
Holy. Dude, honestly,
Not even that,
if freaking Aromatisse was like not a Pokemon, I'd bang her.
Oh man.
You don't even know.
Oh no.
She's thick.
Oh no.
I gotta quote that.
But otherwise, the Aromatisse with the Gyro Ball, okay, like that was just for the right Bobby. Oh my god, Gyro Ball, right? What? What? What did I do?
Gyro Ball.
What? Am I wrong, or was it a different move?
I thought it was Gyro Ball.
Oh.
This is like the Rayquaza Rayquaza debate all over.
So with the Gyro/Gyro Ball, he was able to take out Rybombi from just setting up Aromatisse, which typically Rybombi would do that on the Aromatisse, but because of Alteria's prep, it was able to deal with that. And then also just like, what was going on? Like, what kind of bulk was that to be able to deal with Mega Medicham so well? Like, I think Ice Punch at that point. Let me check the exactly it did to him earlier. But Ice Punch did 29%. Like, and then Zen Headbutt did like about 40. So like he's able, Batista was able to off the Mega Medicham
Like I said,
very well.
She-Thing.
Yeah. Oh. Oh man.
Oh no. Freaking. I'm gonna quote Ian here. I can't wait until he thinks he can set up on this thing. Executed magnificently.
Yeah.
That's all I have
Oh,
to say.
No, yeah, like it really worked out. It honestly, I was shook, man. I was shook.
Not as shook as me whenever she starts shaking that booty.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
Oh.
Number 3.
Oh.
I have Ian here.
Oh.
Like I said already.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Dang She-Thick. Amazing. Choice Scarf Heatran to seal the deal at the end. What a game.
Yeah. Ended up putting Cody at this spot. Partly because I think his prep was very pretty good for this match. Even though he lost his Mega V Paras, he was able to still bring the game back, and he realized how necessary to keep those rocks up were against Thunderflight, and because of that, he was able to just weaken Thunderflight's team down low enough for a bunch of his other monsters to be able to just sweep at that point. Like, yeah, and there wasn't much that Thunderflight could really do about that unless defog earlier, like he was. We mentioned earlier. I don't think I believe he also made a lot of good plays with that Latios, with the being able to read the scarfs on both Primeape and the Moltres, and clicking the scarf, clicking sub on both of them, on both on their U-turns. So I think that was a very excellent plays and predictions on his part, and was able to get him back a lot of momentum in this match as before Palestine went down pretty early.
But yeah, Cody, as we move on to number 2 here, Cody, I would say, watching the battle, it felt like he was pretty comfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, feeling comfortable is something that can always change in Mons. It can just change in the blink of an eye. But the fact that Cody had control of almost this entire game. There was a few spots where T-Fly did gain a little bit of momentum by doing some surprising things like the para on Venu. But in the end, it's just Cody really had control. And when Cody has control, there's hardly anything you could do to counteract that. And it just shows how good of a coach Cody is, that he doesn't fold under pressure, that he knows exactly what he needs to do to win. It just shows how good he is, and I think he really deserves this number 2 spot here.
Yeah. I ended up putting Zombie at number 2, and that's because watching his battle against White Ferret, he prepped well, he played very well, making a lot of great reads. He was reading White Ferret really badly in like a playbook, and White Ferret did not bring the proper breakers with the Specs Crawdon, as I mentioned. That Zombie was able to take full advantage of that. He knew that probably in prep too, with the double Intimidate core plus all the Will-O-Wisp users he has. He knew that in prep and was able to take advantage of that, which is why I put him very high at number 2, because I really felt he was in control for pretty much the entire game. There was nothing. I don't think White Ferret had much momentum on him from start to finish. the only spot I could possibly tell that he had a decent amount of momentum was probably at with the what's it called, the well, if he clicked liquidation or whatever with Crawdon,
Yeah,
I think you could have Crab Hammer, yeah.
Crab Hammer instead of Aqua Jet. It was definitely a 50-50 lost on his end.
Yeah. Which is kind of surprising that he was, even when those Zombie was able to control the entire game, it came down to, but even then, Zombie was able to calmly pick the right move and be able to realize his win condition, and then with Charizard X being his win con to be able to take down Blacephalon in the end. And I really think that that showed, and is the reason why I put him up here. I think he should be for that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then here at the end, we have Mr. Vish just absolutely running away with his win over TCP.
Except for TCP. Yeah, except for apparently doesn't like Vish because he lost to him, I guess.
I don't like you because I lost to you. Sounds so egotistical.
Yeah, so going to this match, I felt that Vish was in control, and I'm pretty sure you did too, throughout the entire match, and he brought a lot of very unique, interesting sets that really worked against him. He made the all right reads. The only issue I felt like that he was wasn't really in control was against the Celesteela, and if I guess the confusion, the little hacks, but other than that, with the team he brought, I think he did very, very well. He ended up bringing both, I believe, 2 of the 3 low tier month he has, right?
Let me just say,
which
Birdie,
yeah,
Oricorio,
oh yes,
put in so much work.
Yeah.
It was
oh my God.
It was Oricorio that got the confusion on the Celesteela, wasn't it?
Or was it Mega Pidgeot?
It was one of them that got it with, I don't remember, it was one of them, I don't remember, I'd have to watch it again, but one of them got the confusion on Celesteela with their Hurricane.
It was Mega Pidgeot though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he would have clicked the what's it called, that dance move that gets the electric move.
Yeah.
On Celestial probably, but yeah.
Freaking Oricorio putting in so much work, but TCP bouncing back with the Autotomize, you can't fault him for losing there. I think, in my opinion, TCP would have won if not for the confusion. I don't know all the rest of Vicious sets, but just from what I saw, it looked like TCP had the game in the end, if not for that confusion. But you cannot fault Vish for that because of circumstances. But Vish just played phenomenally. He played so phenomenally, in fact, that he's just here at number 1 for both of us. Is there anything you have to say, Mr. Bashi?
I am planning on moving up in this rankings. I hope that the first game does not tell everybody what I really am. And I think after some free agents that it could change that. Yeah. Also, this is only based off for everyone that is listening. These are subject to change. This is only after 1 week, so you have a chance to still move your. You have, what is it, like? Is this a 12-week season or like 11?
It's 13 weeks.
Something like that. 13, yeah. So you have 12 more weeks to change your placement here. And I hope that everyone takes full advantage of that. Make this playoff race even closer than the previous year.
Another thing is, as you can see, this season's power rankings are a little bit different from last season. The slides are new, and I'll just go here to T-Flight slide just to show it off and explain everything. But basically, we have a bunch of people from the YouTube team put in here, so you can see more than just our opinions. And basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rotating who's doing the power rankings, so that you'll be able to see what all of our opinions are, so that previous commentators, you won't be able to like miss the development of their opinions on who should be where. But I think that doing the rotation is going to be something that's fresh, something that'll bring a little more fun into the power rankings. It's getting to hear everybody's different perspectives on everything. But other than that, it was nice doing PRs with you, Bash.
Oh yes, it was.
For
Right.
week 1, totally, both of us got volunteered for this. But I am happy that we did. It was fun.
Yeah, it was. Whew. It kind of was. It was very.
It kind of was. It
intriguing.
wasn't. Yeah, Bash doesn't think it's fun, guys. Get him out. Get out of here.
Whoa. Okay. You're really gonna kick? I make my
Kicking you
first
out
video on this
already.
thing, and you're gonna kick me off the.
Yep,
Brady,
you're out of the YouTube team. Yeah. Anyway, that'll be it for us for this week.